Hello, hello. What's up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I just got done watching the pilot episode of Krypton, or Krypton, as Marlon Brando would say. This is a brand new series on the Sci-Fi Channel. I know. Before you laugh, when I first heard about this show and the fact that they were making it and the fact that it was going to be Superman's grandfather on Krypton and that history, I laughed and I said, I won't bother. I didn't care until I saw the trailer and I got more intrigued. And then I saw a certain villain that's on the show and how it looked, and I thought, wow, okay, they're really going for it in that way. So I decided to watch it. That's why I'm watching it, in case you're wondering, oh, if you're just going to rant on it and bash it, why'd you watch it? Because I was going to give it a chance. So at the very beginning, we see 14 years ago, at least from where the show takes place, Val-El. Some of these names, like the L family, Superman had some weird family names. I mean, Kal-El, yeah, sure, but that's kind of cool. His family, though, Val-El is, technically he would be his great-great-grandfather, Superman's great-great-grandfather, and he was killed by this regime, this government group in Kandar. He was killed because he was trying to prove that we weren't alone in the universe, that there are other beings out there, other aliens, and they didn't like that. It went against their religious beliefs, I guess. There's some ancient figure with multiple heads, or the mask, it looks like that. I don't know. So they had him killed. They walked him off the plank. So you jump ahead to the present day of the show, and we meet Seg-El, who is the grandfather of Superman, will be the grandfather of Superman. And you see this kid who's played by Cameron Cuff, which, look, I'm not going to be too harsh on this actor. He was fine. He was fine. There was a part of me, though, that just couldn't help but think, wow, did they really have to cast such a TV-looking actor? It's like, every time you see a show like this, I feel like all of these male white actors look the same. And I'm not even trying to make it a point to say he was white. It's just, I can't differentiate him from any other actor that you would see on a CW show or another sci-fi show. So far, he hasn't shown me anything special acting-wise. Hopefully the character gets more interesting as time goes along. He eventually comes into contact with Adam Strange, who is a character from the DC Comics who goes back in time, and in here he goes back in time to warn Seg-El that he has to save the future of Krypton because his grandson's going to become Superman. Gives him the cape, Superman's red cape, and you see that it's disintegrating, Back to the Future style, so that's how you know if you're on the right path or not, because the cape's going to disappear. And it's interesting, you saw Seg-El's parents, who they were kind of lower in the class system, and they both sacrificed their lives to protect Seg-El because Adam Strange gave Seg-El the family emblem, almost like the USB drive from Man of Steel, which almost makes you wonder, is this connected to Man of Steel, or are they just borrowing from everything that's ever been done in Superman mythology ever? It's hard to tell, because honestly, I was wondering, why didn't they just make this Jor-El? Like, the kid, they said, is supposed to be 22, almost 23 years old. If he's that young, it's like we're never going to get to the point where Krypton gets destroyed. I'm not saying that that's how the series should end if it ever gets there, but that would have been logical. I thought it would have been more interesting to have Jor-El, maybe seeing him meet Laura-El, seeing the moment when Kal-El was born, seeing a young Zod, and the two of them being friends and becoming enemies, seeing Kara, Superman's cousin, being born. But I'm getting ahead of myself. That's not the show that we're getting. Maybe it makes sense because if this is connected to Man of Steel, you couldn't have cast Russell Crowe. So you had to go with this Segel person. Segel, I'm sorry, but that name, once again, another weird, lame name. But you see that this S USB drive thing, there is a Fortress of Solitude on Krypton, and that was surprising. That was different. It looked decent. Look, the sets look good. They do. The built-in live sets that you see people in, like the one bar or the council room where people get judged and executed, I guess. And then the Fortress of Solitude, like those sets look good. It's the shots where they show the grand scope of the planet and it's CGI. It looks like the Star Wars prequels, honestly. Look, it's a sci-fi budget, so for a sci-fi show, it looks good. Looks decent. But it does look dodgy, if I'm just being honest and watching it as it is. Once again, the practical effects are where it's at. The only other complaint that I think is legitimate is you see their clothes, and yeah, the hierarchy people, they wear alien-like robes and royalty-like, costumes that look legit, look like alien, look like high technology. But you see the lower class citizens, I feel like they're all wearing hoodies and t-shirts and stuff that, come on, you really shouldn't be wearing that or having stuff like that on a Kryptonian alien planet. It was a little off. But my favorite thing about the episode, and this is something that's going to keep me watching, honestly, because this episode wasn't terrible, but it wasn't like the greatest pilot I've ever seen ever. I've seen a whole lot better pilots. It was Brainiac. When they showed Brainiac and just how great he looked, how much care they put into getting him to look exactly like he should look, exactly like I pictured him looking. Like when he was in the cartoon, the animated series, or anytime I see him in the comic books, and I'm like, the green skin, the big contraptions on his head, and the black eyes, and he's definitely the technology base. I can't wait to see more of this Brainiac. I have wanted and waited to see a Man of Steel 2 with Brainiac in it, and it doesn't look like we're getting that. So if this is the only way I can get Brainiac in live action form, and if it looks as good as it does here, then I'm all for the show. I am. I have to set my expectations low. I do. I don't expect, or I can't expect, the writing to be great, the acting to be great, because so far it hasn't been great. Segel, his name is dumb. The actor's so-so. The character needs to engage me more. I need to be more interested, besides having Adam Strange constantly come in and say, hey, your grandson's going to be a hero one day. Like, I want to care about this dude. I'll give the character points, though, for having a black love interest. Good job, dude. She was cute. Anyways, I thought the pilot episode of Krypton was decent. It was serviceable. It was passable. It wasn't horrible like it could have been. But I do want better. I do want more. I do want to be wowed by this show. And I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to keep watching and see what happens. Let me know in the comments below if you too watched this pilot episode. Did you like it? Did you love it? Or were you let down? Or were you disappointed? Were you expecting more? Are you just here for Brainiac like I am? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later! Oh, yeah.